Hello guys, Brad here again with another fragrance review. Today I want to look at a fragrance from the house of Parfums de Marly. This one is called GODOLPHIN. I got this sample courtesy of Daver from the Fragrance Bros. So thanks Daver for sending me this one. This is only my second Parfums de Marly review. I did Byerly a while back, a fragrance that doesn't get talked about much. But let's see how this one does. So, GODOLPHIN. First of all, inside the card, there is a little bit of a write-up here. Let me read the bottom part here. GODOLPHIN, named after the renowned stallion, ancestor of so many glorious horse race winners, is embodied through an opulent rose note that lingers into a woody, leathery base. Now, so GODOLPHIN is apparently named after a horse, a very famous racehorse that goes back to King Louis XV, who loved horse racing. So, let's see, GODOLPHIN came out in 2010, classified as a leather fragrance with top notes of thyme, green notes, saffron, fruity notes, and cypress and mate, middle notes of jasmine, rose, and orris, base notes of vetiver musk, Virginia cedar, amber, vanilla, and leather. So this one, first right off the bat, when you do apply this one, you do get that that unmistakable comparison with Tuscan Leather from Tom Ford. And if you look at Fragrantica, I think over 200 people have made that comparison. I agree that it does have a very similar smell to Tuscan Leather. Get a very strong leather note here, very animalic, almost harsh, almost chemical leather here. You get a little bit of that sweet raspberry mixed in there to try to freshen it up a little bit. And then you get these leathery tones, like get these herbal tones from the thyme and the saffron. So it's an herbal leather with a little bit of raspberry up front. And hasn't really changed much in the hours that I've had it on my skin. So I will say this, I think it is probably a little bit safer and easier to pull off than Tuscan Leather, which was pretty daring in my opinion. Very animalic, strong, daring. This one tones it down a little bit. I do see that they have some florals in here in the mid. I don't really get much in the way of a rose note here. So if you're a fan of roses, I think you're gonna be quite disappointed in this one if you're looking for a rose note here, looking for love in all the wrong places when you're talking about roses here. But yeah, fans of leather, herbal tones, maybe a little sweet raspberry. Now, I'm kind of on the fence about raspberry in men's fragrances myself. The fragrances that I think about with raspberry, like Mont Blanc Individual and Diesel Fuel for Life, they've never been my favorites. And this one here, the raspberry here is okay, but it doesn't, blow my mind or anything. So for me, it's a pretty lackluster scent. I would probably say if I had to choose between Tuscan Leather and GODOLPHIN, I would probably go with GODOLPHIN just because it's cheaper, not as harsh and strong, and it's probably something that'd be less offensive to the masses out there. Let's get into some final scores though. The smell, I will say 5 out of 10. I didn't really love Tuscan Leather. I'm not really liking this one either. And there's some people even say Tuscan Leather has like a cocaine smell to it. And I'm like, why would I want to go to work smelling like cocaine? I mean, it doesn't make sense. There have been a lot of great leather fragrances out there. More of a leathery effect that you get from like a suede kind of a leather. But this leather here with this herbal harsh tones in there, it just seems a little bit much for my nose. Projection longevity, even though it's maybe not quite as strong as Tuscan Leather, it's still quite good. I'll say 7.5 out of 10. I've had this on my skin now for about 2.5 hours or so. It still seems to be lingering quite well. Versatility, I would say probably more for the cooler weather, maybe spring, fall, probably summer, hot days would probably be a bit cloying to some. Uniqueness, 6 out of 10, obviously because of comparisons to Tuscan Leather and all the other Tuscan Leather clone type scents out there. Price point, at Fragrance Net, you can get this one, 2.5 ounce, $134.84. A big 4.2 ounce bottle, less than $200, $191.74 at Fragrance Net. And look around at discounters and get the best prices on this one. But for me, Tuscan Leather has never been one of my favorite fragrances, and this one doesn't change anything too much for me. A little bit cheaper, a little bit easier to wear, but still has that same overall effect of Tuscan Leather. Sort of a harsh herbal leather, a little bit of raspberry in there, but the raspberry sort of gets overshadowed by the herbal tones and the leather. So pretty much a pass for me and a 5 out of 10. So thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys later.